Awesome. Well, it is Monday. It's AHTV and Friends is the lockdown edition. So now we're all officially locked down, I believe. Hopefully. We're just going to bring up some news items that we saw online and say, you know what? What do you think about it? A couple of them in particular I'm excited to talk about. So one of them I'm going to save to the end. My most interesting topic, which I guess it came out yesterday, today, who fucking knows. Rice going to Chelsea. So here's the thing. Here's a little setup. Okay, so the news is that Chelsea's interested in him. It said nothing about what they're willing to offer or if he's even for sale or any of that bullshit. So let's just get that out of the way. It just says that Chelsea is interested. Well, no shit. Who wouldn't be, right?
Yeah.
Secondly, I really want to go around, I guess, clockwise. We'll start with Ray, then go Chris, Alex, and then Sally, and then we'll do the next topic. We'll go backwards. We'll just keep going like that. But feel free to chime in the chat room as well and comment along to what we're talking about. And if it's worth pulling up, if I remember, I'll pull it up so everybody can see it. We're streaming live on Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube right now. So if you're on Facebook or Periscope, please head on over to our YouTube channel and click that subscribe button. Also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and all that other good shit. All right? Good to see Wally. There's John Black burping, and there's Foshizi and all that good stuff. And hey, Foshizi, I'm wearing the shirt again, man. Thank you so much for this. I appreciate it. So, Ray, would you sell him to Chelsea? What do you think his value is? This obviously in the summer. Well, what even is the summer now? What does that even look like? Well, let's forget about that. We don't even know. But basically, when the season ends, before the new season begins, whatever that is, would you sell him? And how much? Or even if you don't sell him, how much do you think he's worth?
I would actually not sell him because I think it's far too important for us as a team for next season with everything that's going on that we need him more than ever. We need him to get the ticket sales. We need to get him for the shirt sales. We need to keep him just to give everyone that little bit of hope, even if it's just for one more season.
Yeah.
I'd say to Rice, give us one more season, and then we'll let you go. As for him going to Chelsea, it's lazy journalism. I don't believe it for 1 second. Chelsea have got too many good defensive midfielders in their team already. So unless they're having a big clear out, I can't see it happening. But my price, if we was to sell him, it'd have to be like, and this is, I know it's ridiculous, but I'd want between 80 to 100 mil, personally.
Yeah. No, that's valid. You're right. It is lazy journalism, I think, too. But just like Diop going to Arsenal, you know what I mean? That was a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's just the same shit. But
it must be difficult for them to come up with anything at the moment because everything's so up in the air.
No, that too.
Just like, we just don't know what's going on.
You think Chelsea would whip
We don't even know if next season's going to start.
No, but do you think that Chelsea would whip out 90 million?
No.
Or 80 million? I don't think so.
Not. I think they'll go for someone more attacking.
Yeah. Chris, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, first of all, in terms of the valuation of Rice, I can't stray too far from Ray there. He's worth at least that, if not more.
Definitely.
But last season, I think I would have been a little bit more willing to let Rice go than I would be this upcoming season. He just proved to be integral. He's basically the key player in our midfield. And then in terms of like the actual story itself, it is lazy journalism, not just because of a lack of content, so to speak, at the moment. But of course, every big club, especially in England, is interested in him. But the laziness of it also comes from the fact that he happens to be friends with Mason Mount,
correct,
of Chelsea. So I mean, that seems like a dartboard. Like, all right, let's see what player we're gonna cause rumors with now, and just it hit Rice, and they're like, okay, we'll say Chelsea because he's friends with Mason Mount.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I personally, I would not sell him. You can't sell someone that integral. If you want to show ambition, and with Moyes saying that he only wants to bring in players under the age of 25, I mean, that's the ambition right there, is to keep him.
Yeah. You're right. But the whole Mason Mount thing, I think that's where you're right. I think that's where the lazy journalism comes in, because everybody knows that they're like best friends, not like Ryan Fredericks. I mean, I'm talking like they're like best buds, and then also the fact that Bryce is a Chelsea Academy boy. I mean, he got caught, and that's how we ended up with him. But
Yep.
That's beside the point. Alex, what are your thoughts on this whole shit?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a point of just trying to get some news out there, just trying to, hey, what's the first letter of your name? And, that's who you go to, and silly stuff like that. I think in some ways, I kind of think it's, if you're familiar with college sports here, guys go to the pre-draft to kind of see what their value is. I think we're just trying to, and again, every time these stories come up, we talk about them. The first thing I always want to ask is, well, where did it come from? Why did it come out? Like, why that story today? I think some of it is just establishing value. Hell, we could have made that story out on our own. I mean, you don't know where it came from. Maybe you just want to establish somebody's value for, whatever mind game somebody's wanting to play. So I think there's a lot of validity to what Ray's saying. It's about what kind of value you put on him. I think James put something in the comments that are great. If you want to start a foundation and something to build on, you can't sell him. Because, again, it's going to be in a revolving door all the time, and we're going to keep doing this and doing that, and you're never going to. Yeah, your owners may make some money off of them, but if you do make the money, where are you going to spend it next? If you don't have Plan B, then what's the point? So, no, I think it's silly talk. It's just something to stir the pot. And my biggest question is: do you stir the shit to the left or to the right? That's my only question.
Yeah. So now again, I want to get this straight. Like, my evaluation, which is pretty much it's spot on with Chris and Ray here. It's not what I think he's worth. It's what I think 100%. I just don't want to sell him. And if we were to sell him, that's the least amount of money I would want to take in order to get rid of someone like that, because he's such a massive part of our future, or potential future anyway, or could be. The issue is that he's compared to the other defensive midfielders in the world and everything else, he's not worth 80 or to 100 million. But to us, he is, obviously, in order to get to be able to get rid of him. I mean, he's not price
and value are two different things.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
I guess I misphrased the question when I asked, what's his valuation, or how, or how much would you want to get for him? I don't know. So anyway, Sally, what are your thoughts on this?
So I think a little bit of what everybody was saying. I think the only reason you really can hang that article on the fact that he knows, Mason Mount, is the fact that he's actually become a decent player. If Mount was somebody who never cracked the top 11, nobody would care.
Yeah.
And one thing too that's really interesting, like you guys were saying, is Chelsea cut him. So on one hand, it's like, why would Rice want to go back when he's like, I've proved it and you guys let me go? So it kind of looks bad on them. But at the same time, I don't know if they would be able to spend money that other top clubs in the Premier League would dish out for him. Like your Manchester's, Man City's, whoever else might be interested. I don't think Chelsea is going to put money up to that, because I think their transfer ban is over when the window opens, if I'm not mistaken. So, they can go out for other teams and they can get, other pieces that they need, maybe back for, on the attacking side. But and then on the other note too, with what apparently what we're going to be focusing on in our transfer window, like they were saying, the young players, he fits right in that. Him, Bowen, Fornals, that's a decent core right there. With Souček right next to him, somebody else that he can learn from. So I wouldn't like to see him leave, obviously, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't think it'll be Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm waiting for us to have new ownership for that to happen. First of all, we're not going to get decent owners come in when our hot commodities are sold off. And secondly, I don't trust our current ownership with with 90 million pounds, for one
Oh
player.
yeah.
What
Right.
would they actually? How would they invest that? And is David Moyes actually going to have any of that?
And something to think about. I mean, do we really see like a lot of money being exchanged on the transfer market? I mean, there's going to be pretty much a moratorium on this for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't care how many deep pockets somebody thinks they have.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening, because even if you took the money that you think you're going to get from Rice, it doesn't mean that you're actually going to make a transfer, an equal transfer. You're probably going to have to either go less on talent or pay more, and nobody wants to pay more. I said this a couple of weeks ago with I can't remember who it was, but it's just part and parcel. You're going to have to pay that money whether somebody's crap or not. It's just the way it is now. So whatever you think you're going to get might not get you what the value that you're going to spend later.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, definitely. And on that note, I guess the next topic we'll get into is something I went on Google and did a recent search over the last couple of days of West Ham headlines and shit. So this one in particular kind of threw me back a minute. It said Moyes with this, he's planning a summer British spending spree. And if you actually read the article, there's not much in it with there's no names or anything. But if that were true, it did say stuff about him wanting Diangana back when his loan's over. So for next season type of deal, he would definitely want Diangana and Cohen back in the mix to at least fight for a spot in the squad, which I like that. But again, I don't know if that's true or not. It's what I read, obviously. And then
you forgot one. You forgot one. Jordan Hugel.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. I did forget that. You're right. Jordan Hugel. Recall Big George. Yep.
Sorry.
Show it to Charlie. Yep. No. The best. Believe it or not, the best part of that fucking article. I swear to God, go look this up. I think it was Daily. Not Daily Mail. It was like Star or something like that. I don't know what the fuck. Anyway, it said Jack Wilshere coming back from injury. He said Moyes is very excited to get Wilshere back in the mix when he comes back from injury. He's British, okay, yeah. But is that ever going to happen?
No.
And who knows? But I thought that once I read that line, I'm like, this article is full of shit. This is not one correct thing, because literally 3 articles away, it said in my search, it said he wants £20 million for Diangana. Is he willing to sell Diangana to West Brom at the end of the season for 20 mil? So what is it? So anyway, I guess it's a multi-part question. We're going to go with Selly and we're going to go backwards now. Basically, if this was true and Moyes actually had money to spend on a spending spree for some British players, which is what he's interested in, and apparently we've all heard that he's interested in younger players. Are there any people that you'd be interested, or any names that come up in your mind? And also, what do you think about the Diangana and Josh Cohen thing?
Yeah, so I think with the spot that the academy is in right now, especially with people on loan and doing well, I think first you want to evaluate them and see if they can compete for a first team spot, because we've loaned them out and they've all been doing really well. Holland and Diangana and Trot and all of them. No, not saying Trot would, be first team keeper, but they could all compete. Ben Johnson, if he comes back, you have Silva. So I think one, you have to look at what you have first before you go out. And then on that note too, you could go and get people who are kind of disgruntled on their teams now. Maybe I would like to see Ings come in just because he's a baller and I think he'd be really well on this team. But him and who else?
Did you say
Shelby
Ings
from Newcastle.
You said Ings?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been linked with him a couple times, and everybody was West Ham supporters. We're all talking shit due to his injury record, and me thinking listen, he is a baller. When he's healthy, I'd love to have a player like that on my team.
Yeah.
Our luck is we'd sign him for 20, 40, 30 million or whatever, and get hurt.
Just like Suchek. Suchek never been hurt a day in his life until he stepped foot in a West Ham t-shirt. But yeah, I don't know. I'm keen to see what we are going to do with our own academy first. Obviously, transfers will be made, and that's completely fine. But I also don't want to overlook a diamond in the rough, if you will. If any part of the article for selling Diangana for $20 million is true, keep him, groom him a little bit more. Don't loan him off again. Let him get some first team play. Raise that price tag up, or who knows? He might want to stay. Because show some faith to the badge. But see what we have first. I mean, you saw Holland. He got out and all he was doing was scoring goals. So we'll see. But Ings would be nice, and I think he'd be my favorite for keeping it in the Premier League. I'd like to see him come.
Yeah. So you would like to see? You said you definitely want to see Diangana stay or go for 20.
Yeah, I would like to see Diangana stay. I mean, I think he had a lot of growing up to do. He wasn't a complete rock star when he got his first chance to come up, and I don't think and it was obvious to see him. He had his moments, sure, but at the same time, everybody has a growing process coming into first team Premier League football. And the only downside, well, not downside to him, but we just had better players behind him. Better players. So
sorry,
no, you're good. So we'll
it's my good friend Kevin.
Yeah,
Chelsea,
I mean, and look what he's done with Middlesbrough, or not Middlesbrough. West Brom. Sorry, West Brom. He's helping them get to a first place spot. So you never know. Well, second now, I guess Leeds is in first, but whatever. Still
Alex,
promoting.
What are your thoughts, my man?
Wow.
Take a pick, make a question up. Doesn't matter.
Do what?
So take a pick. Who knows what I even asked? Like, make up a question.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
No,
British
British
spending spree. Say that 3 times fast. And then, what is it? If you were Moyes, would you? Who? Are there any names that pop out to you? In Premier League, even or wherever. And then also,
I don't think it's really a name. I think it's more just the philosophy. If you're going to go after guys in the Championship and guys that are hungry. The Diangana thing, I mean, I'm too much of a puss. I mean, part of me wants to say, if it's a stock and you've got it on the high, do you sell it?
Yeah.
I mean, how much do you think that stock can rise?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question you got to ask yourself. Can that stock go higher than it is now? If you think it can, then you keep him. And if you can insert him into the lineup today, right now, when you bring him back. Because there's no point bringing him back and sit him on the bench. So either you sell him or you play him. That's my opinion.
About what is Diangana or Cullen? You don't know anything about them?
It doesn't matter unless you got a player that you can either insert into the lineup right now.
Yeah.
There's no point bringing either. I just think Diangana's stock isn't going to be any higher than it is now.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Foshizi just brought up 2 names here, the younger players from Championship. Bellingham apparently is super highly rated right now, and the big clubs are looking at him. Ollie Watkins, not so much, but he's doing fantastic on a very small club in the Championship, high up the table, Brentford. So I don't know. He's a striker. He can also play multiple positions, not just striker. It's worth a punt, I guess. But Bellingham, man, he's the future, and he's only like 16 years old. He's like starting for Birmingham City, and whooping ass. Fucking cool. Used him a lot in Football Manager. Yeah, my Football Manager plug. Send me a free game. So also fix your goddamn online settings or whatever your structure, because it sucks. And I would love to have like online Football Manager matches with people, but can't stand the fucking logistics of it. Anyway. Boy, I'm swearing a lot tonight. It's been a lot, it's stressful, man. Apologies for the rough words, but anyway. Chris, so first of all, let's do this backwards then. So, would you sell Diangana for $20 million?
I would have to say probably no. I think that he's done well down in the Championship so far this season. If you're not going to play him, maybe give him one more season down there. But I mean, I think he has the potential. I mean, he showed flashes of it when he played for us, and he's done well for West Brom this season. But in terms of like the whole spending spree in England, and I admittedly don't watch enough of like lower league or even much other Premier League other than West Ham. We catch the odd game here and there, so I couldn't even begin to tell you who I think we should look at. I know we've been linked with Longstaff of Newcastle, but the article that I saw with it said that about a dozen other teams are interested in him as well. So, will it happen? I don't know. But I do like the potential attitude of trying to look at younger players, hungrier players from the championship. I mean, we've seen Bowen come in and make an immediate impact. I think that bringing teams in from the championship is potentially a winning formula if it's done right. So I think that it's a great strategy. Just a matter of will the owners open up the pockets?
Yeah, so that's funny. Irish Tommy was the one who has been preaching it. You know what I mean? He's been preaching, listen, why aren't we looking at championship players? Always great championship players. And then David Moyes, on the other hand, when he wasn't playing Bowen right away, kept saying, even in his press conferences, that, listen, you know, he's a championship player. Like, I'm not going to rush him into it. I mean, he's not ready for the Premier League, blah, blah, blah. And look, proved him wrong, right? So, yeah, I mean, I would absolutely love to, you know, keep an eye on. I don't give a shit if it's League One. I guess, you know, so long as, you know, they're training with. If you put a League One or a League Two player in a training session or 2 or 3 or 4, a week's worth, whatever, with the top club, and they fit right in, well, there you go. But obviously, that's highly unlikely, which is why I did not want Nathan Trott back when everybody was crying for Nathan Trott to come back when Roberto was doing shit. Because again, I mean, whatever. I mean, that's League One. The likelihood of him actually coming in and making an impact or actually handling the Premier League is not likely at all. But Championship, on the other hand, that's a different world, man. It's a different world than Premier League. I mean, it's tough. It's super tough. Plays a lot of games, etc. But anyway, going into conversation, yeah. So with Ray here, I don't know, man. What do you think, dude? Honestly, be honest with me. Like, you think first of all we could get 20 million out of West Brom for him? Diangana, or you know what I mean? And then is it worth it? I mean, would you get rid of him?
I probably would sell him for 20 million, and this is going to be controversial because I think we're going to need the money. I think next season, a lot of teams like us are not going to have any money whatsoever. We was rumored to have about 20 million next season, 25 million to spend. That's gone. That's gone. We ain't gonna. We've literally got no money to spend. So this is the season for the youth team players to step up, and they've got their perfect opportunity to get into the team because we ain't gonna have any money. We might, if we sell players like Diangana and that, then we might be able to reinvest that into some championship players. We might be able to get on the cheap because everyone's going to be struggling. So I think that might be the main issue is like all the lower league teams are going to be selling off their top assets at a bargain price, but a lot of the Premiership teams are not going to have money to actually spend. So a couple of players are going to have to be sold at some point, but I really don't think we've got any money in the kitty whatsoever. I think all our money's gone. So we're going to be proper struggling. But I would love to see the youth players get an opportunity. But I'm also wary that if you put too many youth players in the team straight away, we are going to be in a relegation scrap from the off. So it's going to be a tough whole season next season, I think, for not just us, but for everyone that's got no money.
I'm sorry, I got distracted with one of these comments.
Yeah, I saw that thing.
I had to reread it like 5 times. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I got confused.
Anyway,
one thing I think is interesting too about spending in if we're looking at just that's funny. If we're just looking at British spending, it has to be the right spending, right? I mean, you can't just go out and try to get what the flavor of the week is just because the name alone might satisfy the fans. I mean, because look at Leicester, right? They've been doing it really well. I mean, they they went and got Maddison for what, £8 million from Norwich, and they're going to sell him off for what, 70, 80 million pounds for whoever is the top bidder, and then just reinvest that and they're going and getting, pretty much what we're going to be doing, try to get, those top tier guys of those fringe teams, who have a good work rate, and Madison had nothing to prove when he went to Leicester because he was probably going to get, a lot of money regardless just because how he did in Norwich. But at the same time, that's kind of what we need to be looking at is, who are the guys that obviously do have some attention garnered from their work rate, but also aren't just going to come here and expect to get a big paycheck and not perform.
I'm sorry.
No, you're completely fine. That's hilarious.
Gary's off. I love Gary. Gary. You're funny, man.
That's great.
He's off the Discord, he says. See you later, guys.
I need to catch up on this chat. I'm feeling this still.
It's the most random thing I've ever seen on one of these shows. And it was out of just nowhere, complete no context.
Who started it?
I've never seen this person post before. Some chick named Vicky, probably not even a real person.
Well, they respond once everyone said wrong channel or like too much information, they responded sorry. So
yeah, I think they actually said before that. It's funny. So yeah, let's try. God, I'm gonna try to figure out something. Where was I?
Oh my god! I just read it.
Yeah, I just caught up.
Can you do that?
Well, apparently we're linked again. Here's the thing, people who are watching this. Bear in mind that.
Put that out there. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, you did.
Access to that, huh? All right, so hold on now. Let's get back. Yeah.
I thought I just want to find out who Vicky is. Maybe I got a Discord account. Like,
all right. So,
breathe.
What I was trying to say was that we're talking about a lot of transfer shit. All right, and it absolutely makes no sense because again, with this whole Corona bullshit, there's absolutely none of this going to happen, right? I mean, this is all bullshit, really. I mean, why are we even talking about transfers right now? Really? Because that's all there's to talk about. Sorry. Yeah. So again, this is just, fictitious bullshit right now. Because right now, this is the perfect example of why. We're linked to, remember the dipshit for Liverpool that
I'm looking at crystal ball. Sorry, hold on a second.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Remember, like last year, there was a goalkeeper before they signed Adrian that
Allison
gave up a shitload of goals in like the Champions League or something like that. Or
oh yeah.
No, he leaked in a shitload of goals from but no, this Loris Karius or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is. Yeah, that guy. So apparently we're linked with him. In the summer.
What? Why?
Yeah. Exactly. Why? But again,
want to say on that.
Just think about.
I was going to say just on that. Klopp did say he is a really good goalkeeper. It's just the fact that he had that bad spell, and that's why he couldn't take him any further. But I think Klopp did see him as the future.
Really?
That's a nice little bit of praise. I mean, coming from him especially.
He doesn't tend to talk shit about people either, though. He's usually, his own people, his own players. His own.
But I don't think he's going to go out of his way to say something for somebody that.
I guess you're right. No, listen. Apparently, he was good enough to get on Liverpool to begin with. Well, then again, so was Adrian. But that's a tough one. Yeah, might want for the night. The only thing I know about this guy is that poor run that he had, that poor stretch that he had. You know what I mean? And again, it was against great competition. It wasn't like it was against Middlesbrough. It was against competition. So who knows? But yeah, we're linked to him, and I'm just trying to explain. This is the audacity of the press right now. You know what I mean? They're just throwing shit out there. Where did this even come from? Is that guy's agent the same as one of our other players' agents or something like that? Who knows? I mean.
Well, no, like I said earlier, it's one of those. They have a dartboard of teams and a dartboard of players, and they throw one, see what player it hits, and then they throw another at the team and say, "All right, we're linking him to him."
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to think. Like, he's halfway between, I guess, what West Ham supporters think of Fabianski, way the hell up in the universe, and then what his actual ability was with, or what a lot of us know, Roberto. So he's somewhere between that. I don't know. I mean, he's young. Give him that much.
Was asking a good question, and they were saying, do we even go after a goalkeeper, or would it make sense to?
1,000,000%.
Handoff back.
Well, first of all, that was a mistake. Don't get me going on goalkeepers.
Are all 32.
Did Wally ask that?
No,
usually he's the one that pokes me, gets me going about on purpose, about goalkeepers and stuff. But listen, we do not have our goalkeeper situation figured out, and our record and our stats back that up. So just think about Randolph giving up 4 goals against the B squad of Leicester City. And
the whole team played pretty bad that day, though. We can't just put that on him.
Yes, I can.
No, the whole team. We didn't even put any goals against the B team. Randolph wasn't doing everything. You got to be honest. I mean, that's the case. We didn't do nothing against them. I could have come on for West Ham and done more than what they were doing.
Even Tompkins couldn't stay the day there.
If we had Tompkins, there wouldn't. There you go. We wouldn't have a goalkeeper issue. He would have made Roberto look good.
But I do think you bring up a good point, though. I do think you bring up a good point, because I would say a lot of that has to go into a good keeper is the defensive line that's in front of him. As far as communication and trust and stuff like that. Because I don't. Because you think about it, if you put David De Gea, De Gea's been.
You need to take that jersey. You need to take that jersey and go to Discord with that.
Oh wow!
Don't get all excited.
De Gea's been playing for Manchester United since he was 19 years old. But think about who's been playing in front of him. He's been world class when he's had a world class back line, and he's been suspect when his back line has been suspect. And it's just one of the same. Granted, he's still a great keeper. Obviously, he always in conversation for best of the world. But at the same time, it doesn't just come down to him. Because like you were saying, you only know him for that one keeper for his bad spell.
Yeah.
It's a keeper's job to stop the ball, so you're really only going to hear about it when he does something bad. I know
Exactly.
Right. So right, but if he was to have
did Liverpool, did Van Dijk just have a bad day? Did their back line have a bad day? Was it really not his fault?
Yeah, you got a point. I'm just saying, I don't know.
I don't. Making it up.
He'd probably be an upgrade than anybody we have right now behind Fabianski, to be honest.
All right. Yeah. So we're going to go around. No, fuck that. Not this topic. This won't be fun. Okay. So Arnie is stuck in Dubai, isolation in a halfway fucking house with not an actual halfway house. That's Americans like to call it, but could be. Yeah. But no, he's stuck in Dubai. Is that laughable? Is that what are we going to say? He wants to come back too. He wants to come back.
Come back to where?
He wants to get out of China and come back to England. Play English football.
Say goodbye.
Exactly. So, did anybody have any thoughts about Arnie being stuck in Dubai? Any jokes or any
to be
chat room, please? Does anybody have any jokes? Somebody.
Well, there's worse places to be stuck.
Huh?
There's worse places to be stuck than Dubai.
Yeah,
seriously,
especially
when you're rich.
Right now.
Yeah.
Is he in China or in Dubai?
He's in
Dubai.
He's stuck in Dubai right now.
So he got out of China and he's in Dubai.
Yeah. He's still the Chinese soccer league. They canceled that pretty early on into the outbreak. So, and I remember he was like,
Jazz wants to see this. Thank you, Jazz. Jazz got me one of these James Hopkins, those soccer stars. So thanks, Jazz.
But during the January transfer window, he was desperate trying to get back to Europe in general, preferably England, but he never was able to get a transfer through. That's why those rumors linking him back to West Ham were starting to surface. But I think we all kind of joked about the fact that he'd go there for a season, realize that there wasn't much there. And then he was only there for a paycheck, and he'd try to wiggle his way back into somewhere in Europe. So I think this is just coming to fruition a little bit earlier than expected.
The only thoughts I've really ever had about Arnie were the fact that it would have been really fun to see him and Hilaire play up front together. But other than that, I mean, you wanted to leave for a paycheck and you got it, and now you're stuck.
I mean, that's a lot of players, though. I mean, I think Oscar's still over there. I think Hulk's over there.
Yeah, they have a lot of top name people.
They also have some shitty players like Rondon, too, that everybody wanted. Doing absolutely jack shit over there. Just like he should. Just like we know he does. Anyway, fucking loser. What's his name? Ray.
What's his name, Ray? Oh, cheers, mate.
Sorry.
Sorry, on the screen.
Too much cool today. Running low in the coffee stash. So no, Ray, my brother. Yeah, man. Any thoughts on Arnie? Would you have him back? And what about Payet? Might as well, right?
Nah, he's out with the old, in with the new. We need a new bastard. That's what we need.
That role has been filled.
Right.
Yeah, we need a new bastard. I think. I don't know what's going on with my internet tonight. It's really bad. Sorry. Am I frozen again?
No, you're good.
No.
You're good.
Oh, okay.
I'm just La La Land.
Yeah.
We're just in shock at what you're saying.
I'm like,
yeah, so I'm just saying goodbye if he wants. I ain't got no love for him. See you later.
all right.
We
Alex,
have enough assholes. You are surplus to requirements. We've got enough assholes. Move on.
me or Ray?
Oh, I'm talking about Arnie.
Oh, you're talking about Arnie. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, cheers, Alex. Fuck you.
No, I didn't say you were an asshole.
There's nothing
Just
wrong with
trying
my
to-
arsehole.
This is funny. Irish Tommy was
It is
supposed
a
to be on
very
tonight.
nice asshole. Yes.
Irish Tommy was supposed to be on tonight, and he did apologize for not showing up on time. But
What up, Tony?
no problem at all. But he's in here talking shit already. Look at him. He's calling Jazz the Mike Dean of the chat room. And Ken, no, I've not tried Black Rifle Coffee. I did reach out to. No, not that one. No, I did not. I reached out to them as well as every other goddamn coffee company on this planet after StravaCraft pulled our sponsorship. Yeah, I reached out to everybody saying, hey, the same thing. Just can you give me some free coffee and I'll plug it before every show. And unfortunately, I think Black Rifle and two others said, who are you? And some other ones were like, no, we can give you a 10% discount. And I'm like, no, thanks. And, yeah. So, whatever. Anyway, what the fuck are we talking about? Sky Sports says that rescheduled West Ham games take precedence over London Stadium events. It does not say Olympics. Does not say any of that shit, but it does say London Stadium events. So is it really a story at all?
I don't think. Well, the Olympics wouldn't bother the West Ham season anyways because it goes on during the off.
London athletics or whatever, just the athletics shit.
I mean, you would think that we would take precedence over because the name of the team was on the side of the stadium.
Did I miss something?
Yet that they've pushed back our home opener several weeks in favor of some track events a couple seasons ago. So
the first season that we were there.
Yeah. So I don't know about that, but I will say though, I had I get obviously notifications on my watch. I had a notification come across that apparently Premier League players are completely against resuming matches behind closed doors at the end of this. So
yeah, that's got to be awful, man. I mean, just looking at the few Europa and Champions League games that were behind closed doors, that looked terrifying. Not terrible, just tragic. Because all the passion is taken out. Like, especially some of those games are pretty dramatic too. Like the Valencia Europa League game.
Yeah.
There was no one there to celebrate with them, and they were at home. It was like that's tragic.
I will say though, I loved the there was one video. It was Man United, one of their European matches that was behind closed doors. One fan snuck in and was singing like Man United, and it was just echoing throughout the stadium.
Nothing worse than glory, glory, Man United. But Tommy actually has a question for us. We can go around. I guess we'll start with Ray and go clockwise. He asks if you could replace one current West Ham first team player. Sally, is this about margarine or what are you laughing at? I meant who? Anyway. Did I mute myself?
Jazz just got engaged to Vicky, apparently.
Oh, nice. And Wally, I would love to know what the hell you mean by this. But did I miss something? All right. So, question: if you could replace one current West Ham first team player with a former West Ham player in their prime, who would it be, and who would they replace? Just we got like 20 minutes, so let's and like one more topic to go after this. So let's just do it. Ray, what do you think, man?
Can I replace Jack Wilshere with Billy Bonds?
He's not a first team player. Well, yeah, I guess he's a first team player, but he's not like a starter.
Which is never.
I get okay, fine. I mean, whatever. I think what he meant was like first 11.
Okay, all right.
Not like 25, 25th player on the squad list, you know.
So, who would I probably Haleveni?
Fair enough. That was a good one.
Because
well, you told that and made it good. There you go.
There we go. Yeah, I thought I froze him for a bit. But yeah, because McAvenny back in the day was unplayable. I think he'd still have a position in the team now if he was still the player he was, because he was such a McAvenny. Hey.
And if it was someone who was just in the first team, not even the first 11, you were saying you replaced Wilshere with who?
Billy Bonds of great
Chris.
leadership.
100%.
So for me, it's obviously no secret that I'm a relatively new West Ham fan. My first season
let's just say like from your era then that you remember.
Yeah. For me, got to be Felipe Anderson for Dimitri Payet 2015, 2016.
There's no argument with that. I mean,
no, I think that would be.
Mason, he was fantastic that year. Yeah.
Yeah. With the squad we have now, if you inject that kind of player, like if it was the 2015-2016 Dimitri Payet, I mean, that would just be incredible. I don't think that many defenses would be able to stop us. So, short answer for me, Dimitri Payet.
Alex,
I'd probably go Payet too. I mean, I want to find a place for Payet. I'd say Payet for Snodgrass.
Sally.
Yeah, so I would say for my era too, and it's actually not one player. I'll take a grouping of players. So if we play with two up front, I would still love to see what Valencia and Sacco could have turned into if they grew off of 2015-16 together, because they were a lot of fun to watch that year. And I think they would be fun. And on this team currently right now, I think could be pretty lethal with the service that they could get currently with Bowen and Fornals behind them. So that would be fun. I think that I would like to see that for sure.
Can I change my striker? Actually, I want Dean Ashton. I want Dean Ashton. I just remembered how fucking brilliant was Dean Ashton.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Thank you for taking my answer, Wally. Just fucked it all up. Yeah. Actually, believe it or not, I was actually going to say Masuaku for Joey O'Brien, but no, I would say Issa Diop for James Tompkins today, right now. Consistency versus youth and stupidity.
Apparently, Jazz loves dicks.
I love dicks.
Oh, I didn't see the rest of it. My bad. Sorry.
Well,
he'd be great in the squad right now. I think DeCanio would be fun to watch too.
His lad was a legend. Yes. DeCanio for Antonio.
Yeah, I was thinking that same thing.
That.
Fucking anybody for it. I do. Marwan Shamak for Antonio, please, right now. Anybody.
Man, if
So-
Antonio learned how to kick as well as he could header a ball, like shoot, man, he'd be a ridiculous player. Demba Ba. Oh, yeah. Demba Ba could be cool.
I'm surprised no one's mentioning the legend Bobby Moore yet. And why not? Oh, he's just gone on there, Tony.
Wait.
Bobby Moore for anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
This is not
I guess so. Jesus Christ. I think John Black planted her.
Oh, what about Ludo McCloskey for Fabianski? I'll take Ludo.
I take Robert Green over him any day. I take Robert Green right now over him. Or
Really?
Fabianski. I take him at fucking 50 years old over him. Absolutely.
Did you not see that goal that
Well,
he let in England? When he
Oh,
bombed
yeah.
it?
You're talking about against the U.S.?
Yeah, when he went for his legs.
Dude, that was one fucking goal. Dude,
Him and Fabianski had the same thing.
let me
happen
ask
to
you,
him.
it's an 18-19 season. Go back and watch the 51 or 53 freaking goals that Fabianski let in. Tell me, like,
It's
it was
embarrassing if
ridiculous.
you lose against the Americans. It's embarrassing.
I'll give you that. 100%.
Yeah.
Americans are shit at soccer. 100%.
I'm gonna get Fabianski on this channel and make you debate it.
Fabianski, Fredericks, Bilic. Yeah, I might as well do a, bring them all
Real
on.
Ferdinand for the Ox.
Yeah.
Who else?
Joe
Shit.
Cole. I'd love to have Joe Cole in his prime.
Definitely. Someone said Alex Song, too. Oh, that was
Tommy
Tommy.
did.
The guy asked the question. There you go.
You said Alex,
Oh.
the guy that we got for Barcelona? Yeah, he was great. He was fun.
Definitely. Green was awful in corners and free kicks, but, whatever.
What about
loved,
Frank Lampard? Did anyone take Frank Lampard back?
Yeah.
Rice will play the same spot, I guess. Oh, no.
I wish he never left, One of those deals where
Yeah.
It'd be cool to see what West Ham would have been if all the greats, like all the
This is
other
good.
academy transferred out, if they would have stayed and still became the same players that they were. Which I definitely understand that that's how football works, but
I guess we've already beaten that to death. Let's,
Chavez was
All
good.
right, moving right along.
sorry. What the fuck else was there?
Did anyone
I don't
see
know.
Rebecca's tweet the other day?
Rebecca's?
Yeah,
Probably.
about the all the shops being open and her legs. I just remember that.
No.
What is
I-
this live stream turned into?
I just remember that.
Football for sure.
Coyote Ugly closes, and you just your head goes to shit right now.
Sanchez, yeah. Apparently, there's some squares there.
Whoa, okay.
Whoa.
And demonetized.
Right.
No, well, who knows? Alex played a song the other day. Speaking of Alex song, Alex played a song on here the other day, and I thought we were going to get demonetized for it, and sure enough, we didn't. Couldn't believe it. He was certain.
I think you get only so many seconds, and then after that they cut you off.
It was.
So I don't think Ray would last that long. So I think we're okay.
I never do.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So you guys think that we'll sign Suchek?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that there were, like, in his contract, if we were to get relegated, he'd automatically go back to his parent club. If we stayed up, we'd have to, like, it'd trigger a clause where we'd have to buy his contract. But so I think it all kind of depends on what the league rules. If they void out the year, if they void out the year, then it might be a little bit complicated. But if they take standings as they are now, then we'll have him back.
I would love to have him back, and I hope they dish out the money to sign him back.
Yeah.
Because him and Rice, if both of them stay, it could be a pretty nice pairing back there.
I think he actually wants to. I think he wants to be here. His first quote when he first got here was like, "Hey man, I'm really sorry the team's in this position, but I'm gonna do what I can." It's almost like saying, Look, boys, sorry you guys sucked, but I'm here now.
Pretty much.
This chat has gone off.
It is. I can't handle it anymore. I gotta block it.
Would you guys have any issues if he was to be like captain for a while? Like if Noble weren't to have as
100%.
much first team play?
How good is his English? I don't even know. Because that's the reason why we wouldn't let what the fuck's his name, Augie or Diop or whoever be captain because of he didn't speak English or whatever. Or Fabianski, who knows? I mean, not Fabianski, Balbuena. But anyway, people are just stupid. And Rice is too young. Get the fuck out of here. So listen, Suchek will make a great captain. I just whatever. I don't know how good his English is. Mine's not even good right now. So, but listen, I was there for his debut, and he was like trying to get. You could tell he was trying to get the crowd to get him pumped, that he was putting in an effort. Like he put in an absolute effort.
Yeah.
He wants to be appreciated there, with us. So
yeah, anyway. He put in some hard work, and he definitely will be. One thing that's most frustrating, well, not most frustrating, but is frustrating with this whole coronavirus thing is it's exactly the West Ham way for us to start playing decent football and then get the season canceled right when we were trying to, pick up some points to stay up.
Season canceled, a global pandemic occur.
Yeah. Heaven forbid we stay up. It's nope, world's got to shut down for you guys to stay up.
I wanted to say too, Ray, this chat has probably been funnier than the last post-match live stream.
Yeah.
The whole Brazilians thing.
I guess I'm.
Yeah, you don't know Tim.
Yeah, afterwards.
I'm glad we provide good entertainment.
Tom Hanks movie quote references. That was great.
By the way, this is going to get worse in 3 weeks when we're all just stuck in our houses, gone mental.
I hope StreamYard allows us to have 12 people in here at once. Without any
That's pretty cool.
Fantastic. Just talking over each other like Lee. And,
oh my God.
You bastard. All right, guys, I don't know how much more I can take of this. Christ. All right, I'm not gonna look at it anymore. With that, change. Sorry, guys.
Man, this is great.
All right, we'll go around the circle then. And what do you see happening with the season? Do you see us cramming 9 matches into 2 months or 1 month? It is humanly possible. I mean, it's just the players are going to bitch about it. You play too much, like they do down in fucking Championship and League 1, League 2. What do you see it? Do you see us cramming it into a month or 2 months, or do you see us pushing it later? I know, Ray, you probably already mentioned it, but in some other show, but go for it. Mention it. What do you want to see happen? What do you see happening?
Well, a little me wants to see the season get cancelled, just so all the Liverpool fans can't wind them up for the next. And a little me does want them to win the title, so the bar is absolutely rammed. So I'm kind of in a no-win situation here. I think realistically they're going to have to try and finish the season somehow, and the more I think about it, they're going to have to try and cram the games in 2, maybe even 3 in 1 week, just to get the games finished. And I do like the idea that if they don't relegate any teams, I know Sky and BT are saying they're going to veto it, but if no teams get relegated and 2 teams come up, I think that's probably the fairest thing they can do. And I would like to see that personally. We have one season with 24 teams, 22 teams, whatever it is, that'd be fine for me. Don't know. What's everyone else think?
Chris?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Ray on the whole 24 teams. I think that the only 2 real possibilities are either voiding out the season or just taking results as they are now, leaving everyone up and bringing 4 teams up. I don't think that I don't think that they're going to try and cram everything in. I mean, it is possible now that the Euros have been pushed back. Had they not been pushed back, I think that for sure, no way in hell they would have tried to cram it all in. But I think it's more likely that they do either void it altogether or just bring up more player or teams before they try and jam everything in. Personally,
Alex.
I think.
Well, you said this. You said this the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, I might have changed my opinion. I don't know.
Somebody hold on before you start. There was somebody that commented on that video that actually said, "Listen, it was the Friday night. It was the tournament. It was the tournament, the Friday Night Lights thing." And they were saying that, listen, you were bang on about what you said about how we should. I think you said we should. I forgot what the fuck you said.
That was about like personal responsibility. That had nothing to do with football. That was just life. It was just knowledge. Just pearls of wisdom falling from my mouth. Honestly, I think you're probably right. Okay, here's a scenario: is you keep the 3 relegated teams up, then you have the top 2 play, top 2 from the championship come up, and then you play the playoff for the 3rd and final position out of the championship. Can you imagine the ratings for that? Because guys are not. You cannot maintain a season. Injuries, managers are going to be complaining about playing time and guys being healthy. It just ain't going to work. But I think you could play one game in the championship, or at least that tournament for the 3rd spot, and that would be must see TV.
Potentially, I mean, possibly, yeah. Good point guard you're being called in the chat room. Sully, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be really interesting because you think about it. If we try to cram this season into a short amount of time, I think you have to start looking at unless the start of the season has already been pushed back, how close to the end of this season, the start of next season will you have, especially because there's no Olympics now, so nobody's going to be playing football out there, and you might have to do away with the preseason, like the preseason tours, which, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be overly upset about that. I mean, obviously it would suck for the Australian West Ham fan, but at the same time,
so I don't give a shit. Yeah.
But so everybody has about 9 games left, right? So you do kind of like a World Cup style schedule where you play a game every 4 or 5 days, and everybody plays on the same days. That way you don't have any of this game in hand stuff.
Yeah,
everybody plays, and then you finish the season. You probably get it done in a month and a half, but at the same time, it's just It sucks because there are a lot of questions, but at some point you're just going to have to look at it and be like, all right, the season's a wash. Give Liverpool the championship, whatever. Relegation.
The people with the teams with the games in hand. That's what sucks, because literally Aston Villa has a game in hand, and if they were to win that game, I don't even know who it's against, but if they were to win that game, they'd be out of the bottom 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they would get relegated. So if a lot of people are in here are saying, well, just cancel it, end it now, the way it is, whoever is in the bottom 3, send them down.
And I get that too, but another argument too, like if you want to play like devil's advocate or just like be like, look, this is how it is that it's not anybody's fault but their own that they were playing that bad. Like if West Ham were in the bottom 3 and we got demoted because of coronavirus, I can't be mad at the Premier League for demoting us. We can be mad at ourselves for playing trash all season long, so I mean, it would suck. It'd be harsh, but at the same time, like on that same note, if Liverpool doesn't get the trophy, they only had to win like 1 or 2 more games to honestly get it, because they might have been able to win it the game that they would have played right after it was canceled. So I mean, it is what it is, but at the same time, you're at where you're at because of how you played, and that's your own fault.
I agree with Irish Tommy saying not finishing the season would get very messy. Lots of teams pissed off.
Yeah, it would.
There's no happy scenario. However, I do agree with people saying that let's not do this shit behind closed doors. And then there's also other people saying that, listen, our players even going to be fit, to even do this. Wrong one there. But anyway, Oh shit! How to get this on?
It's
My
also
whole
what Vicky says.
my whole thing with this is that if the games cannot be played with supporters, that's what an actual game is, right? The supporters play a major role in no matter what you think. Like the players play, I'm sorry, the fans, the supporters play a major role in the matches, and without them there, don't even fucking bother playing it. Period. Okay.
Right.
It shouldn't count. It's stupid. It's just a training session. It's really ridiculous. And then there was someone else in there saying something about, they need a preseason. Everybody needs a preseason. Not necessarily. If they're playing right up to the beginning of the next season, there's your preseason. The end of last season. You're still fit. It's just again the logistics of, well, who's leaving, who's going, whose contracts are ending, and shit. Do they have enough time to move their families and blah 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 blah? And then the teams, like I mentioned this before, where the teams that are getting promoted. Do they have enough time to meet minimum standards in the Premier League, which is a big deal? You can't just take a championship stadium without the logistics to handle the Premier League stadium. The same thing with the pitch, et cetera, et cetera. You can't get that done in a week. Sorry. But anyway, and vice versa. The teams that would go down, losing all that money, and having to just all of a sudden plan for a 46-game season. That's ridiculous. Logistically, it would make no sense. But anyway, so where do I sit on this? I have fucking no idea. I'm just saying. Everybody made valid points, and I think that if we can't cram the season in by the end of June, then forget it. And there's gonna be a lot of people pissed off, and that's gonna suck. But bottom line
I think
is
whatever way they do it, it's gonna be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even if again, there's people in there saying, "Well, just scrap the whole thing then." Just so forget about Aston Villa and their game in hand and whether they go up or down. What I'm saying? Forget about that. Just scrap the whole thing and just start fresh again. Well,
the more
that fucks up
I've been thinking about it, actually, the more I've been thinking of it, I think almost the best option would be voiding the season altogether because
you sound like Karen Brady.
What's that?
You sound like Karen Brady.
Well, my reasoning is because it's the only situation where you're going to have like kind of fairness, because if you take results as they stand now, you're going to have like the 3 Premier League teams that are getting demoted or relegated suing because, we could have climbed our way out of it. Mm-hmm. The teams coming up, those right below that point, could be suing, saying, we could have climbed into it and had a chance at it. So
financially, dude, it could wreck the club.
And I think I said this on the podcast, that this has single-handedly thrown sports, especially this sport, into absolute chaos.
Yeah. Because
there is no contingency plans. There are no right answers.
Yeah, it's a big problem. It's one of those things where, like, the teams, like, I completely see the points of just voiding out the season, starting all over again, restarting next season with this particular season for everybody. But again, is that the lesser of the evils? That is my point. Like, if it is the lesser of the evils with the least amount of damage, I'd say go for it. As long as, listen, Leeds ain't going to be happy. West Brom ain't going to be happy. They put a lot of money into trying to get themselves promoted this year. A lot of time and effort and everything else, and then all of a sudden they have to restart. Like, that's not get in the Premier League, even though they won promotion. So there's those people like Ray saying, "Well, they're making a 22-team league." And listen, I think the Premier League should be a 24-team league. Period. That's the way it was when it started, and I think it should be a first division. Absolutely. Every single league should have the same amount of teams from top all the way down to the fucking non-leagues. Okay, the Sunday league. Absolutely. There's why does the Premier League have 20? Wait, that's stupid. It's listen. There's absolutely 24 teams in England that could be Premier League level. Absolutely. Think about the top 4 teams in the table right now in the in Championship. You got Leeds, West Brom, Fulham, and I don't know, Brentford or somebody over there, or Middlesbrough, or Nottingham Forest or something like that. Yeah. That would be awesome. Massive clubs. They definitely deserve to be, not massive clubs as in like
Leeds would be massive,
massive clubs as in support. And stadium wise, with the exception of Fulham. They have massive stadiums, and they absolutely deserve to be in a Premier League like that. They can maintain a club like that. And you know what? If they go up, they'll be one of the 4 teams that come down if they're not good enough. Blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you right now, if that happened, fucking Bournemouth would be so far gone down the fucking table, and I'd be so happy because they're a tiny little dinky club, and they have a tiny little dinky stadium, and they don't have the, they don't deserve to be in the Premier League, period. Nobody with a 11,000, 12,000 seat stadium. The minimum standards in the Premier League should be 20K. Absolutely. You think about revenue. I know I'm going off on a rant and tangent right now, but I really don't give a shit because this is really important. Think about this. If you don't have enough seats in your stadium, how can you afford to stay in the Premier League? How can you afford to pay the players and so on, to bring in the talent, to maintain that? How do they, I don't understand how they're in the Premier. I don't know how they stayed up for so long. Fuck Bournemouth. I don't give a shit. I want them out. And I don't ever want to see Brentford in here either until they build a bigger stadium, which they got one in the works. So good on them. At least they have plans. Bournemouth, no plans for a larger stadium. So
Fulham has plans to upgrade one of their stands, the one that's right up against the Thames. They're,
exactly.
Yeah.
Good for them. In Queen's Park Rangers, another club with a massive support for English club. They're probably the top 30 most popular clubs in England anyway, for support wise. But guess what? They have a dinky little stadium, and they can't logistically. They cannot unless they move, and there's nowhere to move for them. That sucks for QPR. But at least they have 17 or 18,000 or something like that, which is a lot better than 11.9 or whatever the hell fucking Bournemouth has. So piss off, Bournemouth.
Just a quick question for everyone. How many teams are going to go bust because of this coronavirus? I wonder.
In the Premier League?
There's a question in the chat.
I mean,
English
across
football.
the
There's a question in the chat room. Hold on. There's a question in the chat room. Hold on. What about Bournemouth, Tim? All right, sorry.
Yeah, I wonder how many English teams are going to go bust because of this.
Yeah.
Because
listen, Bolton was trying to fight their way back. Bolton from administration and everything else, they were trying. This will cripple them. Absolutely cripple them.
Yeah.
They'll be dead again. That sucks. They'll be like Bury. That's horrible.
I think a lot will just have to go into the league, making sure they take care of their own, or not specifically just like Premier League takes care of Premier League, but the FA as a whole, make sure that those small teams can still come together, because obviously this is unprecedented. Nobody saw this coming. Especially with it being so close to the end of the season too. I mean, the season would be maybe 2 or 3 weeks away from being done at this point.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, but at the same time, you're not worried about the teams in the top of any of the divisions, except for maybe Division 2 and 1.
Yeah.
But they just got to do something to make sure that everybody is looked out for. So because you're not just, if a team goes away, that's affecting a whole community. That's affecting people's jobs and everything. Obviously, we saw that to an extent when West Ham moved. That whole community now is nothing like what it used to be.
Yeah.
But
we gotta. I didn't realize what time it was, man. But listen, guys, thank you so much. And yes, Bolton will survive. That's a shame. Listen, one of my favorite right backs of all time in Premier League history was Greta Raffen Steinsen, Icelandic guy. I wish we had him so bad. When they got relegated back in 11-12, and we were going up, I was hoping to God that we were going to sign him as right back, and Allardyce, fucking idiot, had no idea. And that guy ended up going to Turkey, and unfortunately, now he's a technical director of Fleetwood Town in League One. Decent job. Anyway, so yeah, listen, chat room bananas tonight, man. Just absolute mayhem. I loved it. It's one of those things where you had me in tears, literally, for the first time I think ever, and it was great. So
congratulations, Jazz.
If you're watching this on Facebook or Periscope, please head on over and click on the subscribe button on YouTube, because that's what matters most to us. Yes, we go out of our way to spread our gospel on Periscope and Facebook for you, but please head on over and thank us by clicking the subscribe button on our YouTube account. But anyway, Foshizi, Tony, and Molly, and Ken, and John, and Foshizi, and Rebecca, and everybody tonight. Listen, Gary, love you, Gary, miss you. The chat room was phenomenal tonight. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Alex and You too, Selly, man. It was just going to be me and you tonight. And look at this. We had a full house and the chat room.
This is great.
Love you all. And come on, you irons. And we'll talk real quick in the back room. But everybody else, come on, you irons.